The probe was beyond tired. So far beyond that if a machine could conceive an end to existence, then it was at the moment of death. Its once bright surfaces were now pitted and punctured through countless impacts with meteoric grains of dust, and blackened through eons of exposure to cosmic particles. What was left of its once precisely directed antenna, now turned aimlessly in a slow pirouette that had lasted beyond any collective memory. No one knew. No one cared. It was a forlorn speck, invisible and lost in the immensity of space, along with any recollection of the ancient civilization that had sent it on its journey. In their time, both machine and people had flourished. Both had risen in their ways to reach out in a flowering of space exploration. First around their own planet, then others in their system. The tiny probe had been the culmination of the brightest brains the planet could bring together. This little spacecraft had been their signal, their declaration that they were reaching at last for the stars, and now, not that the builders would know, the little craft had finally made it to the edge of the galaxy itself. Once launched it began, and continued to send back a stream of information about their closest neighbors. The scientists and the planet's inhabitants rejoiced. But as is always the case with a new toy, it becomes familiar, and eventually forgotten. So as it reached out into the void between the stars, its work no longer exited or inspired, and its makers moved on to another, brighter child. No matter how well it had lived up to what was asked of it, the probe had done its job, and its memory passed into history. The probe didn't notice, or care, it was a machine. Irrespective, it continued as it had been asked, and each time it passed a star, a fluctuation, an anomaly, then once more it would announce the discovery, sending back its findings to unhearing ears. As long as energy fed through its fine wires, it sought and proclaimed, and would, until its power source drained the last dreg of radioactive emission. Now it was almost dead. Now nothing but weak, random, particles of decay came from its tiny generator. But that was enough, just, for the ultra-sensitive detectors on the Akabin 3, to signal an alarm,